Nut Nerd Podcast, episode 296. That's what they all say.
Welcome to the Nut Nerd Podcast. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Mr. Dave Baylor.
Well, hello to you, my fine feathered friend.
Yes.
My friend who's very highbrow and very proper and prim. Is that what they say?
True.
Yeah, I'm trying to build you up in the audience's mind here.
Yes, they know better.
You've got your riding suit on. You're going to do a fox hunt later.
Yes. You know me, shorts and a plaid shirt.
Yeah, that's what I see, but
yes,
everyone else can see something different in their mind.
Yes. Keep up the charade.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are here to talk about some technology, so let's get into some follow-up. So I believe, was it just last week or the week before, MileIQ was 2 weeks ago, because last week was the typos of the New York Times, that gem on Twitter. But 2 weeks ago, the MileIQ, and I had just started using it, and I was liking everything I was seeing. Well, I did go back and look because the free version gives you 40 trips per month. So unlimited forever, you can keep free 40 trips per month. Well, I reached that 40 trips, and so I started looking at it, and it's $5.99 a month for unlimited trips, all the features and everything. But a couple of the things that I wasn't sure on, like I have a client that is a winery that I go out to quite a bit. And so I'm in there tagging, you swipe left for personal, right for business trips. Mm-hmm. And you can type in the title of the location. So I added in winery. And then after you do a couple trips there, it'll say, would you like to auto tag these trips? So I know every time I go to the winery is going to be business related. And every time I go DJ at the marathon, I know that's personal. Mm-hmm. So it auto tags those. So it really is turned out to be a nice little app. So I paid I think $60 for a year of their service, which I believe the federal reimbursement is 56 cents per mile now. So well worth it if you drive for work and that is deductible or want to track your mileage.
Well, in the era of COVID, your humble brag of 40 trips per month
yes.
that you're exceeding, it makes me feel
living on the edge.
You are living the dream, my friend.
Yes.
Well, that's cool. MileIQ, check it out. It seems pretty neat.
Yeah, so 10 trips per week is kind of what that would work out on the free version. So you can calculate that pretty easily. I did get an email, speaking of making money this week, from PayPal.
Well, let's hear. How much am I getting?
Google Plus profile litigation has sent you, drum roll please,
okay,
$2.15
Holy
US
cow.
dollars. Yes.
What are you going to do with all that?
I don't know. My wife got it as well. So we talked about this on the podcast. I don't know if it was a year, maybe more. I've lost all track of time, but there was some sort of litigation against Google Plus, and
it was at least
down
2 years ago, at least.
Yes. And so we signed up for it, and hopefully many of you listeners did as well. And you've got a $2.15 in your PayPal account now.
Man, I just don't know what you're going to do with all that money. Maybe we should go out to lunch and have a business meeting, and then you could write it off.
Write it off. Yeah. This is, it's really, I look at it as a blessing after our Amazon affiliate account getting shut down
to
have this
keep us going.
windfall. So, yeah, look, search your email or look at your PayPal account, and you might have a little bonus in there from Google.
Man, I have yet to find anything in my multiple Google accounts, so I'm not sure that I'm a participant in that. And you know what? At the time, I may have said, "Forget this. I'm only going to get a couple bucks. Why waste my time?" So
yes. At least for this one, I am very happy that they did PayPal, because usually they'll send you a check for 65 cents, and the postage was more than, and the printing was more than you actually get. And so it's like with this, they just had to hit a button and it's in your PayPal account, which I do appreciate that.
I did get a check from a bank the other day or something from an account that I no longer have that was like, "Hey, our records show we owe you like $1.15 or something." And I'm just like, just keep it. You're killing the environment for $1. Okay.
Yes. I was switching business bank accounts, and I had $5 that somehow got left in the old account. And I told my rep, I said, can you just take that as a tip or something? I really don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
This next headline is about, we try to keep up with all the streaming services and which ones are going on. This one might take the cake. Fandango Now and Vudu merge to become official movie store on Roku. So at least we're getting merges. We're not getting separations.
Yeah.
So Fandango had their Now movie service, and Vudu's been around quite a while, and they're merging, and it's going to be available on many platforms, but it'll be Roku's official store for movies.
Wasn't Vudu a part of Walmart? Isn't that their
I
streaming
think
service?
they might have passed through Walmart. It's one of those that is been handed around several times.
I owned the J.J. Abrams Star Trek on Vudu. I bought it for the $5 or whatever it was. And you had the option to upgrade to HD for like $2. And I spent, I spent like probably a week kind of going, man, do I want the HD? It's $2 or, that whole thing. So, but since all the new streaming services have come out, I haven't looked back. I don't care what I've purchased in the past. I'm just going to watch them on my streaming services.
And I did pull up the Wikipedia for Vudu and can see that Fandango Media is a subsidiary of NBC Universal, like everything else on the planet. So, Vudu's been around since 2004, but 2007 was when it really came out. So that's a good long run they've had. And Walmart acquired them in 2010, and then Comcast got them from Walmart in 2020.
Okay, that's recent then.
And Comcast is NBC Universal. That's all one. It's impossible to keep it straight. And one more streaming story, because we can't have enough of them. Amazon's IMDb TV free streaming finally comes to iOS and Android, which I did not know that Amazon had an IMDb TV free.
I did not either. And I'm one of the few people in the world who can go around and say IMDb. Because my initials are Dave Baylor, so DB, IMDb. And so if I could get that URL from them, imdb.com, I would love it.
Yes, maybe you can purchase them from Amazon. So yes, if you need more streaming TV in your life, check out IMDb TV free. They include popular titles like Chicago Fire, which is good for listener Todd to know, All in the Family, Mad Men, Malcolm in the Middle, The Wolf of Wall Street, and How to Train Your Dragon. So those are some decent titles.
Yeah, those are great properties.
And some that I've watched. So, yes, all of that good stuff in the streaming world. There is more stuff than you can ever watch.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend the other day, and we were talking about YouTube and the idea that there's more hours of content created every second than I'll ever be able to watch in a lifetime. Yes. It's just like it makes me so sad that there's so much good content out there I'll never be able to see.
I know. Well, it's always good content, and you can get all of it. Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
Well, this time I'm going to agree with you, Nate. It is good content. Today's tip involves timers. Now, if you have an Alexa device in your life, you can say, hey, set a timer, do this, cancel the timer, whatever. But if you don't, and you rely on your phone, you may have been frustrated with your iOS device going, well, I got to go find the clock app, and then I got to go into the, the fourth icon over, then I got to click the thing, then I got to pick the time like an idiot, and then I got to hit start, and by the time I get my timer started, my eggs are already done boiling or whatever. So there is a quicker way, and I'm going to share that with you today, and it is pure genius, and it's unfortunate that Apple hides all these features behind nothing. They just don't tell you about them. Yes. So if you are familiar with Control Center, on newer phones, you would pull down from your upper right-hand corner. This is the phones that have Face ID, and Control Center will pull down. If you have a phone with a button at the bottom, you need to slide up from the bottom. You do a upward swipe, and Control Center will come up. Typically in there is a timer icon. What does it look like here, Nate? It's kind of a weird shape. It looks like a clock. It kind of looks like Pac-Man pointing straight up. to be honest with you. But that's the timer icon. And, normally you would tap it. It opens up the timer app. Like I said, you do this jog dial thing to try to find the time. Well, forget all that stuff. When you're in Control Center, just tap and hold the icon. And now we've got a slider that goes up and down, and it goes from 1 minute to 2 hours in 5-minute increments. And you just choose the time that you want. You click start, and boom, you've got a timer going.
Oof.
How useful is that?
That is great. The gems that we find in the long tap, and that I did not know that one, and I didn't even have it in my Control Center, so I went to my settings and added it. But that is good to know, because there are those times you just need a timer.
Just a review on that, go into your settings app, and there is a Control Center option in there, and we've covered this before, but if you want to add the timer, there's a little plus and minus buttons to add and subtract things from your Control Center. So take a look in there, and you might find some other gems that you might want to add on a daily basis to your Control Center. But timers solved.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for that. We will move on to our takes of the week. So we have talked over the years as it's developed. Amazon, they used to utilize the United States Postal Service, and, they still use them, and UPS, but they've also developed their incredible distribution service. You and I benefit greatly because we have a distribution center within miles of our home, allowing for very quick deliveries. Well, some people have started to notice that they are expanding to serve unlikely clients, its rivals. So other companies, Etsy or Walmart's even using it. Some, I believe, are using Amazon's fulfillment and their shipping and their distribution now. So once again, Amazon's taking over the world. And,
well, the real losers in this battle are FedEx and UPS, DHL, other delivery services, because they're, pun intended, those companies have been asleep at the wheel in innovating a very precise logistical system to deliver packages and have warehouses and all this stuff. Now, the advantage Amazon has is that they own the products or distribute the products and have a fleet of delivery, whereas UPS, like third parties, they don't own the products. They're not selling the products. And so Amazon, one of the tricks they have up their sleeve is they look at all the analytics, and they're able to ship items to the warehouses near the places that buy those items regularly. And so you and I, let's take for an example, in Wilsonville, there's the distribution center, and you use mustache wax. Well, somewhere in that warehouse, there's going to be a mustache wax box with your brand in there that they're anticipating that you're going to order one of these days. And I got to tell you, it's just like Apple's vertical integrated system where you own the whole stack. You can do incredible things like this. But it's interesting to hear that third parties are now using them to ship their products. And I think FedEx and UPS are going to be relics of the past.
Yes. And, one of the parts that a lot of people probably don't understand about Amazon is, even if, like, one of the companies I work with, we sell beautiful hammers, and we were doing Amazon for a while. Well, we looked into, they have their fulfillment by Amazon, so we could just ship them hammers and they'll take care of everything else. And so they've had that, and they also have this multi-channel fulfillment, which is for third parties. So even if you're not selling it on Amazon, you can send it to their warehouses. They will store it. They charge you a fee for storage. Then they will pack and ship it out for you. So that's where Walmart, eBay, Etsy, and Shopify, it said, are some of the ones using it. It's going through Amazon's system, and for them, they just have to add in new parts and be able to tie in the orders. But yeah, it's Amazon. Amazon's getting huge, and they are. It'll be interesting to see over the next couple of years how UPS and FedEx fare with all this, and also smaller fulfillment places, because there's a lot of places that do this kind of stuff. But if Amazon can do it at the scale that they like to do, at a price that makes sense, the amount of buildings they have and the locations they have, there's a lot of advantage there. So depending on how you feel about Amazon currently, it could be a good or a bad thing.
Right.
Another story I found, this is kind of interesting, and the headline is, And this ties in with you, Dave. Your Facebook account was hacked. Getting help may take weeks or $299. So Angela McNamara had gotten an email, and you probably have received one yourself, that said somebody has tried to log into your Facebook account. And it, say if this wasn't you, you should reset your password or whatever. Well, she didn't really mind that and got another one shortly later saying your password has been changed and two-factor authentication has been added to your Facebook account.
Yikes.
Facebook's support on this is not very helpful. So the workaround that she found, she purchased a Oculus Quest for $299, and their support was able to help her get back into her account. So,
wow,
actually, that was somebody different. Brandon Sherman followed a tip he found on Reddit to get his hacked account back. I bought the Oculus Quest 2. And it has its own customer support system separate from Facebook, so they were able to help him get back into his account.
That's crazy. It's pay to play, so maybe there are some advantages to getting the Oculus Quest 2. I've enjoyed mine. I really hate that Facebook owns them, but it is the most affordable freestanding VR experience you can purchase. So that's why it's there. But that's a great tip. But I'm thinking, why do people care so much about their account that they would, if Facebook went away from me, I'd be like, well, that sucks.
Yes.
Ooh, boy.
Yes.
Oh, well.
Well, a lot of people have a lot of photos in there that they might not have elsewhere, or communications and connections and all of that stuff. Yeah. So one backup is none backup, and use a secure password with two-factor authentication on any account that you care about.
Not password 123.
Yes.
It's like some idiot would put that on their luggage.
Yes. Which brings us to our next story. It is a little bit of a slow news period, as you might have noticed. And this is one that I've been sitting on for a while, and it's from Krebs on Security. Brian Krebs, who is one of the top security writers out there, that who also can kind of put it into plain English as opposed to getting too deep in the weeds on things. But this actually takes an interesting look on password reuse and using common passwords, where he's looking at a hacker who actually got caught because of just the way he had his email set up and his password that had been involved in a hack, and his girlfriend's emails were getting forwarded into this email account where he was planning his Bitcoin fraud stuff. It was really interesting what he actually wanted to try to do, because he was a bad guy. He did not like Brian Krebs. He was trying to raise Bitcoin to purchase heroin to send to Brian Krebs, so that then he could send the cops to Brian Krebs' house and get him in trouble for having heroin. So really quality guy here.
Wow.
So him getting caught is not a bad thing, but they talk about even people in operational security, OPSEC, they don't always use good passwords, and it can really come back to bite you. So again, please just go sign up to LastPass. It is a battle that I continue to fight with people. Or even if you're, use Android and Chrome, just use the Chrome built-in, or iCloud keychain, on your phone. And if you have a Mac, if it ties together. The nice thing about LastPass is if you're on multiple different platforms, it gives you the flexibility there, like using a Chrome-based browser and then Apple products. You can use it on both. But, two stories here where losing your Facebook account or getting arrested because you're trying to frame somebody for heroin, whichever one you fall into, use some strong passwords.
Totally.
And then the big story of the week, and you provided a link from the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and I have seen many takes on this. Somebody kind of discovered in some Apple stuff that they were going to be releasing some new features, and then Apple has come out and explained at length, which there's some links in this article, to that. So there's a couple different services here, and this is the hard part, because them being brought to light at the same time makes it very confusing. So one of the features is protections for children in iCloud and iMessage, where if you have a child under 13 that is part of your family iCloud plan, you can opt in to a new feature where on device, it will scan their messages for inappropriate photos and send a warning to the kid and also to the parent.
So it's a kind of to catch your children if they're participating in sexting or inappropriate photos and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes. So that is one part of it. Another tool we've talked about many over the years for parents to help navigate technology with their children. Mm-hmm. The other part that seems very similar but is completely separate is CSAM, which is child sexual abuse material, something we don't like talking about. But there's this very complex system where there's these basically fingerprints for known imagery, and Apple is going to, there's only the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They are the only ones in the country that's even allowed to have this database, and they create these fingerprints so that they can try to match it to the photos.
And they provide some type of API to third parties who can match photos against this known database. But it's all super secure and you can't see the content. You can only search against it with your content.
Yes. And so what Apple is announcing is they are going to be doing this for messages or iMessages and iCloud photos. They will be doing this scanning for these specific things. Now, the big concern is people say, well, if they do this, what's stopping them from having China come and say, hey, we want it for all these images we don't like, and we're going to do the same thing.
Or we want the text also, in addition to the images. You've already made a little opening to where you can send this information out of a private account. Well, just send us the text, and we will send it through our servers to search for any propaganda against the Chinese government or any religious groups we don't like or anything like that.
Yes.
So I am in the camp where I 100% agree this is a slippery slope. No matter how good intentioned it is to take someone's private photos and match them against a database to try to catch people who are involved in those activities with minors and those type of things, as good as that is and how honorable and awesome it is, there's no escaping the fact that you're opening the door to law enforcement into people's private accounts. And I just cannot be on board with that. I can't agree with it at all. I'm vehemently against it.
Yes. So it'll be interesting. It's kind of been, everybody's had their takes this week. And I know somebody from Apple said, we will not do that for China. We won't do, this is a very specific use case, but that's what they all say.
That's what they all say. That's how it all starts.
Yes.
Then pretty soon you're on the street pushing drugs and living in the gutter and wondering, where did my life go? And where are my kids?
Down by the river.
Yeah. It only takes just looking at some reefer leads to that, kids.
Yes. So keep yourselves safe. But so very confusing. And I think Apple kind of got caught before they could really announce it, that the news kind of came out. So people were jumping to conclusions, which muddied it even more.
Apple likes to be in control of the conversation. They like to be able to strike first and say, here's the story that you're supposed to do. But they went around kind of and found this information on the backside before Apple had a chance to really present their case, and it's muddied the waters for them quite a bit.
Yes, indeed. Well, our bonus odd take, we need to clean the palate after those last three stories there. This is one I came across. I love these things, and I know we've had some similar ones in the past. The headline is the worst volume control UI user interface in the world, and a group of bored developers and designers has decided to start a thread on Reddit, of course, to figure out who can come up with the worst volume control interface in the world. Now, we've all had frustrations of trying to do the little slider or, adjust our sound, or something's too loud or too quiet, but these are some very fun where you you tip a little level there to get it to the right spot, or you bounce it off of the thing, or just a list of 1 to 100 with dots that you have to pick one.
There's one that's great. It's a microphone icon with a cancel and save button. It says, please make a noise as loud as you want the volume to be. So if you want to turn it up, you just yell and it'll match that volume.
Yes. Yes. There's one, it's got YouTube with Rick Astley getting rickrolled there. It says, we have automatically adjusted your volume 44% based on your latitude, 43.5 degrees south. To change your volume, simply move your device to a new location with the latitude of your desired volume.
That's pretty bad there too.
Yes.
I think someone just posted a picture of Apple's control center. Very
yes.
Choice there for our podcast.
Yes.
Said that's the worst one. That's pretty funny.
But yes, user interface is a constant battle, and trying to make it even worse. Some people had some fun with that, so I like the creativity of showing you just how bad things could be. Appreciate what you do have. Oh, and then the picture of volume for Windows XP, and it is DVDs. Basically 0 to 100%, so you have to pick the right DVD to adjust your volume.
Oh boy.
Yeesh.
No thanks.
No thanks. But thank you for our picks of the week.
So as we mentioned last week, I was away in Yelm, Washington at a youth camp, and part of my duties there was capturing media. And, you might use your iPhone or a camcorder or some other device to capture media. Well, one thing that I am enthusiastic about are drones, and I like to get drone footage. So I made a purchase, as I often do for this camp every year, it seems like, either before in anticipation of the camp or after when I crash the drone and I buy one after the camp. But this time I bought one before kind of as a safety. I had one to use, but I wanted to make sure that if I broke the one I brought, that I'd have something. I'm thinking ahead for once. But I purchased the DJI Mavic Mini 2. This is my first DJI product. Purchased Parrot products before, the Parrot Anafi and the Parrot Bebop 2. Both great drones, and there are dozens of drone companies, but I would say Parrot and DJI are the largest or most well-known companies. So DJI, the fit and finish, it's very like Apple. Everything is well designed. The interfaces are good. They're well respected. They support their products very highly. So it's great. I took some great footage of a lake and a mountain and some different things. And the quality of the sensor and the camera is phenomenal. And so my pick of the week is this Mavic Mini. If you cannot afford a very expensive $12,000, $15,000, $2,000 drone, then you should look at the Mavic Mini, because it's pretty much got all the bells and whistles. I will warn you, at the cheaper price comes fewer obstacle avoidance sensors. So to be a novice and not to have the obstacle avoidance sensors can be a bit dangerous, but with some practice, I'm confident that you can do well. And at the lower price tag, if you do crash it, you're not out all your money. So anyway, I really like it. It'll become my main drone here very soon. So that's my pick of the week.
Yes, you sent me a picture at near sunset of beautiful scenery, and I was awestruck. Awestruck, yeah. It was an amazing picture. What these, for what you would consider a lower level drone.
Yeah, it was $449 is the retail price on this.
Yeah.
I bought mine at Costco for I think $10 less than that, and I got an extra battery and a bag. So, check your local listings for cheaper prices. But for about $450, you can pick one of these up.
Wow, very nice. Well, my pick of the week is somewhat related, and I had seen it a couple different places, and my daughter and my father are often looking at the birds out in their backyard and trying to figure out what types of birds, are there. There is a newer app called Merlin, and it is put out by the Cornell Lab. So you download the app, and they have these bird packs. So you can do, like, the options for me that it gave me was the U.S. West Coast, which would make sense. That's probably where I'm going to spend most my time. Or you can download the full US and Canada Continental at 1.45 gigabytes, where the West Coast is just 915 megabytes. So they're pretty large. So you might want to just go for a local one. But then it does identification of birds, and you can do it through, I believe, both image and sound. And just really a cool app if you're into that, if you have kids and you're trying to teach them about how to do it. So you just search for Merlin Bird ID, and it is both on iOS and Android. Wow. And you can do it by size. So you can do, what size was the bird? What were the main colors?
Does it use the bread box matrix? Is it bigger than a bread box or smaller?
It gives you some little icons of different size birds, like a goose or a very tiny bird. The colors, and then what was the bird doing. You can identify bird songs and calls, identify birds in a photo, save birds to your life list, so you can build a digital scrapbook of your birding memories.
Your favorite birds, yeah.
Yes, and then you can also look at lists of birds near you, so you could, maybe kind of create a wish list of, I'd like to see one of these in nature. But completely free. I haven't used it much yet, but I have only heard good things about it, and I'm excited to get my dad and my daughter on there so they can better identify birds. One of those fun apps to do that kind of thing.
Well, if only birds liked drones better.
Yes.
They tend to fly away, but the Mavic Mini is quiet enough that you can approach birds pretty closely and get some good shots of them. So just be careful out there. You don't want to be running over any birds with your drones and causing
No. Yes, maybe we'll see you on the Wildlife Photography Awards or whatever those ones are that we seem to look at every year of the comedy wildlife photos on those lists.
With the monkeys doing funny stuff or whatever.
That's your goal with your new drone, is to get on that. You might need to travel if your desire is to do monkeys, but
well, there's always local
something
zoos.
A little more local. Yes, that's true. I'm sure they're really hot on you using drones at the local zoo.
They love it. Hey, now back to your app. I noticed that the U.S. West Coast is 915 megabytes. Yeah. So make sure you've got enough room on your phone to download this thing.
No small pack of information there.
No.
But a very cool app, and very cool that something like that is free and could be very educational or just interesting for you. A lot of information packed in there. Well, we have packed a lot of information into this episode, so I think we will wrap it up. As always, thank you very much for listening. If you are looking at the episode number, you might notice we are quickly approaching episode 300 episodes, Dave.
I can't believe it.
Pretty amazing. So we are in discussions of what we might, if anything, do something special for that episode. But every episode is special because we want you to be able to get out there and tech better.
Do you get 256 this time?
Yeah, I have 256.
I've got 128.
Oh,
I know.
My friend.
Mm-hmm.
And get my notes back over and my window sized right.
Tastes a little bit of that onion.
Nice. The gift that keeps on giving.
Mm-hmm.